Share 7 with love and courage went to Georgia to stop these weapons. This land must be nuke weapons free. At the U.S. Naval Base, they brought a message with signs and singing and peaceful presence that nuke site transformed to a peace center. This land must be nuke weapons free. They were in danger, that did not stop them. Arrest and prison, they're only stronger. Their inspiration will help us shout out. This land must be nuke weapons free. 68 nations signed the UN Treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. So we bring roses to their missions. This land must be nuke weapons free. This world is our world, now in great danger. We must transform it for living beings. So join the struggle to save the planet. Sing it! This world must be nuke weapons free. Sing with us, everybody. This world must be nuke weapons free. Thank you for the Raging Grannies of New York City.
They'll be back. They'll be back. All right. Let's all say happy birthday to the Nuclear Weapons Ban Treaty. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! We are going to be rallied here until 12:30 or so, and then we're marching to the U.S. mission. I hope you all can join us. People who are passing by, join in with us. Our first speaker is Seth Sheldon, who is the United Nations liaison for ICAN, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. And that is a Nobel Peace Prize winning organization. And we are so honored that Seth is here, and he is going to bring us up to date with what is going on with the Nuclear Weapons Ban Treaty. Seth.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out today. I will tell you a little bit more about what everyone is celebrating right now. If you don't know about the UN Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, you are to be forgiven. In all of the media coverage on international war and brewing dangers, we have not seen much mention of the only realistic solution for nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons which pose the greatest existential threat to humanity, including proposing the most acute existential threat to our climate and global food supply. The solution is the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which entered into force 2 years ago this week. Also known as the TPNW, or the Ban Treaty, it is the first and only global treaty that categorically prohibits nuclear weapons, everything to do with nuclear weapons, while also providing a framework for their total elimination. It is historic for one other reason, in seeking not only to prevent future harm, but to address past harm as well. It is the first ever treaty relating to nuclear weapons to provide for assistance to communities and for remediation to environments affected by nuclear weapons use and testing. If you don't know about it, why do you think that is? Who is working against the treaty? Who has an interest in convincing you that the status quo works just fine for you, that these weapons protect the US, but should not protect other countries, and that a nuclear attack is survivable? So-called nuclear deterrence, a policy advanced by a small number of actors in a small number of states, is not sustainable. True experts on international security, science, and healthcare calculate that deterrence policies have sleptwalked humanity into the highest risk ever faced from nuclear weapons, higher than at the height of the Cold War, and that it will get worse quickly without a major shift. That shift is this treaty, is the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. It is our best hope, likely our only hope. It has the support of the vast majority of countries in the world, and it has, even in a short time, already been used to change norms and behavior, to spark divestment campaigns and legislative actions throughout the world to pressure nuclear-armed countries, including this one, to move to a more sane path. My name is Seth Sheldon, and I work for the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, ICAN. We are a global coalition of non-governmental organizations, 162 of them right now in 110 countries. In 2017, ICAN was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for our efforts to raise awareness about the humanitarian consequences of any use of nuclear weapons, and for our efforts to advance the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. And this is it. This is our Nobel Peace Prize. We share this with all our partner organizations and all those who advocate for the universalization and the implementation of the TPNW. Today we are celebrating the 145 countries that support the TPNW, 2/3 of the world's states, the 92 that have signed it already, the most recent last week, and the 68 that have already become states parties to this treaty, that are member states, in such a short time, and who are taking forward now implementation of this new international law. Today we prepare for the TPNW's second meeting of states parties. We had the first one in June in Vienna, Austria. The second one will be here in New York at UN headquarters in November. New Yorkers, by the way, support this treaty, and they should. After all, it was here where nuclear weapons began. It's called the Manhattan Project for a reason. And many New York communities, primarily in black and brown and underserved New York City communities, continue to suffer from the radioactive legacy of that program, many without anyone realizing it, many New Yorkers not knowing this. So, in December 2021, the New York City Council, through the advocacy of the New York Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, a partner organization of ICAN, the New York City Council adopted this great package of legislation that, among other things, joins New York City to the ICAN Cities Appeal, through which cities in nuclear-armed countries declare their support for their country to join the TPNW. The package of legislation does a number of other things. I won't get into it in too much detail, but it reaffirms New York City's status as a nuclear weapons-free zone. Many do not know in New York that prior to 1980s legislation creating the nuclear weapons-free zone in New York, that New York City was surrounded by nuclear missiles. We had a ring of bases that made New York City more of a target. The legislation establishes a city advisory committee on nuclear disarmament to recommend policy and educational programming, the very first of its kind. And it calls on New York City not least to divest from the companies that produce and maintain nuclear weapons. Many do not know that New York City has approximately $475 million of public pension funds that are invested in those companies, and we can get it out. And the City Council has agreed to already do that. Our next speaker, or we'll later hear from someone else from NICAN who can tell you a little bit more about it, but visit nican.nyc to learn more about the New York work, and visit icanw.org, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons website, to learn more about ICAN and the TPNW. Today we are grateful for the remarkable progress being made by this treaty in a short time, with the progress in implementing it, with universalizing it, and for your support to see the rest of the world join it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seth. I just want to find out, is Cleo here? But Cleo is here. So please come up and get ready after the next speaker. Okay, she has a song for us. Emily Rubino, the Executive Director of Peace Action New York State, is sick today. But her friend and our friend, Michaela Zerkes, who's the fairly new Executive Director of Brooklyn for Peace, is here and going to read her words. I really thank you so much for stepping in, Michaela.
Hi, everyone. So I'm reading this statement on behalf of Emily Rubino, the Executive Director of Peace Action New York State. Though the past year has been, in many ways, a difficult and disappointing time for anti-nuclear activism, it also made it incredibly clear how indispensable our work is and how much work we have ahead of us. I'm so glad and honored to be joining you all here today to celebrate something good, a reminder of what we are able to achieve when we all work together, and a beacon of hope when it comes to working for a nuclear-free world, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. I could never have imagined that when I watched the treaty negotiations and adoption of the TPNW at the UN back in July 2017 as an intern with Peace Action New York State, that I would be standing here today in 2023 celebrating the second anniversary of its entry into force, with currently 92 signatories and 68 state parties. With the war in Ukraine continuing to unfold, tensions with China continuing to rise, and spending for nuclear weapons continuing to increase, every day more and more people are waking up to the reality that the only real, sensible solution is to abolish these abhorrent weapons for good. That we need to choose the well-being of our planet and our fellow human beings over the egos of the few nuclear-armed states. This TPNW is paving a new way forward, one where we don't have to be at the mercy of the leaders of nuclear-armed states to decide what's best for the rest of the world. This treaty is an inspiration and a gift to me and those even younger than me. It is a tool in helping make sure that we achieve a nuclear-free, just, and sustainable future. We still have so much work ahead of us, but it is so incredibly important to make sure that we take the time each year to celebrate this incredible achievement. Celebrate the increase in signatories and state parties, and celebrate together. Movements need joy, they need celebration, and they need community. Thank you all for allowing me to speak today and for all that you do for this movement. No more Hiroshimas, no more Nagasaki's, no more Fukushimas. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela. We are so honored that we have such a wonderful person heading up an important organization, Brooklyn for Peace. Really, it means a lot to the movement. We have a musician who contacted me, I think it was yesterday, who has a song that she really wanted to perform, and I want to hear it. So there you are, Claro Knopf. I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure, but please come up.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a song by Embroiled, a Russian lyricist who wrote a song against nuclear war in the 70s, and it applies to today. And I'm going to sing it in Russian and in English. While the planet Yeshua still alive, Пока солнце, while spring мечтает весны, dreams of sun, мы жизнь предъявим, we declare свои права, the rights of nature, пока не поздно, пока не поздно, before it's too late. Земля как сердце, earth's the heart, у нас в груди, in our chest. Здесь наше небо, it's our sky, и наши гнезда, and our nest. Еще не поздно, it's not too late. Ее спасти, to save her. Еще не поздно, еще не поздно. Рядом, рядом, радость и беда. Надо твердо дать пакет солнечному миру. Да, ядерному взрыву. Нет, нет, нет. Sun-worry world. Yes, yes, yes. Nuclear explosion. No, no, no. World of light and sun. Yes, yes, yes. Nuclear explosion. No, no, no. Серьезнее атом. И все страшнее the evil atom. Все ближе ужас, the mirror, the terror, разрывов грозных of the deadly blast. Еще немного, not shade me, there'll be no more days or nights. I будет поздно, и будет поздно. Планета крикнет, the planet is crying, укрой меня, defend me. О, летучий from this cloud, о смертоносной, bearing death, укрой от грозной, огня, defend me from the wave of fire. Пока не поздно, пока не поздно. Together with our joy and our pain, we must sing this refrain. A world of life and sun, yes, yes, yes. Nuclear explosion, no, no, no. World of life and sun, yes, yes, yes. Nuclear explosion, no, no, no. Maybe tomorrow, Sombrut Maria, the sea will die. Omoknut ptitsi, the birds grow silent. Zastenut sosli, the pines grow cold. Ujianis mojish, Zaitizaria, there'll be no more dawn. Is prosit nieba, the sky will ask, Niushta pozdna, is it really too late? Tak pakliniomsia, so we promise. Shtuni spasion, that we'll save it all. Yet on nieba, our blue skies, not yet shachs and yours to me. Spasion, and yet we will save. Now stop we from our planet home. Пока не поздно, пока не поздно, before it's too late. Together with our joy and our pain, we must sing this refrain. A world of light and sun, yes, yes, yes. Nuclear explosion, no, no, no. World of life and sun, yes, yes, yes. Nuclear explosion, no, 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 and no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Cleo, what a beautiful voice. And it just reminds me how the two nuclear powers, Russia and the United States, need to come together and sign this treaty and stop this war in Ukraine. I feel so much for the Russian anti-war people who are risking their lives, their livelihood, their families out there to protest the war. And it just, it means so much to us, and we need to support them. And together, I know they would be here with us if they could, talking about banning nuclear weapons. The next speaker we have is my good friend and collaborator, conspirator, Mari Inouye, who is an attorney and the co-founder of the Manhattan Project for a Nuclear-Free World.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you to all the volunteers and everyone who joined us today. I'm not going to repeat what others said previously. I just want to say thank you to all the state parties to TPNW who's ratified this important treaty despite the threats from the nuclear armed states not to join this treaty. So thank you so much. Well, I want to touch upon a new development. About a week ago, Japanese government announced that they're going to dump radioactive wastewater from Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean starting from this spring or this summer, and it might last 30 years or more. And right now, at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, there's more than 1.3 million metric tons of radioactive wastewater stored since the nuclear accident that took place in March 2011. And this is environmental justice issue. Local people opposed to this plan, Pacific nations opposed to this plan, and other countries from the Pacific Rim opposed to this plan. And this is another form of nuclear colonialism, and we have to stop this. Today we're going to submit this. Deliver this join the treaty certificate to the U.S. mission. This was endorsed by more than 45 groups in the United States, mainly in New York. We demand United States mission to join the treaty, abolish nuclear weapons, because achieving a nuclear-free world is a human rights issue. It is an equity issue. It is an environmental justice issue. And dismantling nuclear colonialism is important at this time because it continues to impact those affected communities who are already impacted by the nuclear policies of nuclear armed states. So today we are going to demand abolish nuclear weapons, join the treaty, no nukes, and yes to nuclear-free world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're running a little bit late, so we want to keep our next talks kind of short because we want to get over to the U.S. mission. We have a date with them to make our demands. So we want them to join the treaty. But we have two more speakers, Brendan Fay and Deborah Sweet. So I first want to introduce you to Brendan Fay, who is a key member of NICAN. So Bud says, okay, come on. But he is so inspiring. He will get our juices going, and so will Deborah.
Thank you. Thank you. I know, yes. He said short. I said I am. Always, every day. Brothers and sisters, thank you for you choosing to be here today. To be truly radical is to make hope possible rather than despair convincing, says Raymond Williams. To be truly radical is to make hope possible rather than despair convincing. We who have our eyes open, our hearts open, our minds open, are here with our despair, with anger, with frustration, with rage at the nuclear weapons which threaten to this very day our Earth, our humanity, our human family. Yes, but we are also here with the hope of the human family. There are gatherings like ours all around the globe, people honoring the second anniversary of the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. I look at each and every one of you, and I want to say how grateful I am to be here with you in New York this morning to give thanks for you and your heart of commitment to ridding the world of nuclear weapons. I want to express my thanks for those who woke me up from my sleep and said, you must make a difference in the world. I was only 17. They said, you have a human responsibility as a human being to make a difference. I want to say I am honored to be with you, to walk with you, to be together, that you have used your voice, that you have used your vote, that you have used your body, that you have spent time in jail and on the streets. This week I was proud to be with you, to walk from one mission to the next, to thank diplomats who share our passion and our hope and our commitment to ridding this world of the greatest threat to humanity and Mother Earth, nuclear weapons. Thank you. What a gift it is to be here, to be alive, to carry on the legacy of those who have gone before us and walked with hope for humanity and the human family. Let us, as New Yorkers, continue to press our politicians. Let us do everything we can to inspire one another, to awake one another, to continue to do our work. Thank you for who you are, for your witness for peace, and your passion for a world without nuclear weapons. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Deborah Sweet, who is the director of World Can't Wait. She just last week helped bring us together to close Guantanamo, which is another important issue that we all get together on. And so thank you so much, Deborah, for being here.
I sincerely want to thank all the organizations who have brought this together, and especially Sally and Michaela and other folks. And thank you very much for putting me at the end after amazing speakers and singers, a hard act. But really, I know we're all here thinking about the globe and global humanity. At least I hope we are. A lot of our fellow citizens in this country are told to think about America first, especially those MAGA idiots who think America is the center of the globe forever. We know that is not true. We are here for all the people from those nations and those places that are so oppressed by this global system of imperialism, who had no responsibility for nuclear weapons, who have no responsibility for global climate destruction, and would be with us today if these borders weren't so crazy and so enforced by guns, governments, fences, and nukes. We and global humanity are the secret to stopping the danger of nuclear war. I want to take a small issue with the idea that the treaty is the thing. Treaty and government agreements are essential and important, and we got to struggle for them. But what is the one force that has the only potential of stopping these oppressive governments from actually using nuclear weapons? It's the people. It's the people in the streets. It's the people not accepting it. It's the people modeling what Brendan is talking about, the hope in change. Since I was 15 and I learned about Vietnam, I said, look, it is time for these oppressive governments to stop being in control of the world. And I just heard a talk by the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian where he said what I was thinking for so many years. We can no longer allow these imperialist governments to dominate the world and determine the destiny of humanity. He says it's got to be overthrown. If you want to hear more about that, see Jonathan here or look at this flyer. But we have a responsibility right now to go out and find not just the people who were born before the early 40s, who are now the only ones who really remember nuclear war carried out by our government. We've got to find everybody and wake them up and say, look, it's now more dangerous than ever with the war in Ukraine at this moment, putting us on the tenterhooks of one nuclear power or the other, fighting over Ukraine and threatening. I am very, very upset to hear that the Japanese government has backed off from its pacifist stand of 75 years and is going to put troops around Taiwan and threaten China. Who's behind that? The United States government. I am very upset that people are worried only about the crimes of Russia, which are vast, in the invasion of Ukraine, and not looking at Yemen. Many people here vigil every week against U.S. crimes in Yemen, but most of our fellow population does not understand the war crimes carried out by the United States. And it's all of our responsibility to carry in our hearts and with our feet, act on the streets to raise people's understanding that there's no future in this system of imperialism. I really want to again say how important it is we're out here. We're going to march to the United Nations, and we should carry in our heads and our spirits the future of global humanity. We can be part of the solution and the answer to saving this globe from the rapacious imperialist governments that are trying to kill it. Thank you for everyone being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, for your no-holds-barred talk, getting us ready for this, that we need to have our strength together. And we have one more song. I hope that everybody's getting a sign together, getting their things together, and the grannies are going to get us prepared. We want to have that sign in the front of our march, this sign, because that's our logo, no nukes. And then people will line up here. We're going to march down 42nd Street, and then we get to First Avenue, make a left up to 47th Street where the U.S. mission is, and I hope you all can join us. All right, grannies.
Okay, nuclear proliferation, everyone.
Got song sheets, sing along with us. One, two, six. Nuclear proliferation. We must stop its global spread for the peoples of the whole world have to live in fear and dread. We must all tell all the nations we cannot have nuclear war. Peace and justice, common safety, that is what we're marching for. We must destroy atomic weapons. We must make them disappear. We cannot have our lives shattered, and those bombs are everywhere. There's a nuclear weapons ban treaty binding internationally. Obey the law, eliminate them. Sign on and join the sanity. Sing with us. Everybody. Sign on and join the sanity. For the Raging Grannies of New York City. Thank you.
Thank you.
March.
Okay. All right, so we're going to line up right here with this banner in front, everybody else in back. Get a sign if there's one around. We need some help, John.
That's like almost 20 minutes.
We shall not be moved. We like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Sign the nuclear ban treaty. We shall not be moved. Sign the nuclear ban treaty. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. One, we are the people. Two, a little louder. Three, we want U.S. to sign the ban treaty. One, we are the people. Two, a little louder. Three, we want the U.S. to sign the ban treaty. One, we are the people. Two.
Can we get away with this for a minute? How about this? So we can talk to each other? Thank you so much for coming. So Jack and Mari are delivering a letter to the U.S. mission around the corner because this entrance is obviously closed. So we are going to be here till 1:30. What time is it now? 1:23. Well, we could be here a little longer. So do you want to sing? Yeah. So would you lead us in a song? Bud and Cleo, would you lead us in a song? What do you want to sing?
We all can sing.
Bud, is Bud here?
What about you?
General song, we all can sing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe Bud might sing. You want to sing?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, sing.
Great.
Well, he's got something around him. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. And what's his name? From what, Friends Club?
had a bell, I'd ring it on, ring it in the air, all over this land. I'd bring out danger, I'd bring out warning, I'd bring out the love between my brothers and my sisters. Song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between brothers and sisters all over this land. Oh, if I had a nuclear treaty band, I'd sign it in the morning, I'd sign it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sign out danger, I'd sign out warning, freedom, speaking of love between our brothers and our sisters all over this land. Guess what? Well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, and we've got a tree sign over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, song about love between our brothers and sisters all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between our brothers and our sisters all over this land. Yeah! Leo!
Thank you. Do you want to do the bell now? We're going to have some, we're going to ring a bell. So I'm going to give this one.
This is Tommy, this is recording.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
Paul.
think he's got, oh no, he's another reporter. Somebody had it here.
Where's the, oh, here it is.
Hello everyone, and my name is TK Nakagaki. Actually, I'm from Japan originally, and today, actually, also I'm ordained Buddhist priest too. So every time when I come to the August, that's we meet each other, and so I'm going to do today is also I was ringing the bell, and then the little what do you call it, those sounds. Maybe this is familiar. So, but then this bell shouldn't be used this way. I mean, the way that we use this bell is, of course, it's actually meditation bell, but also peace bell. But it is a peace walk, so I think this is appropriate to use for peace. So that I think the peace of the world, and but also it's important to have a peace in our mind, and because if we're going to do the peace work, we should have peace in our mind too. And so that's the way that at least we think for the Buddhist thing. And then also I'm Hiroshima Peace Ambassador as well as the Nagasaki Peace Correspondent. So I'd like to lead a little meditation. So before we gave, the letter and so forth, I think it would be nice to have a mind of compassion and also care for other people. I think that in Chinese this is a year of rabbit. Rabbit has a big ears, right? So what does that mean? I think listen to other people what they need, because we talk, but we don't listen. Maybe this country too tend to be, this is what we want, but actually what the other people want. Is something important to listen, and it happens to be the year of the rabbit. That probably is a good time to listen to others. And also, and then that way. I see. Thank you. So the rabbit has 2 ears, right? So it's nice to be able to listen. But then, have you ever realized that the word listen, has how many characters? I mean, L-I-S-E-T-E-N, right? But then, if you change the order of the word, what can you make out of? Well, silent, right? I mean, happen to be that silent and listen is the same. What I mean is, the same letters that they use. So probably it's time to be quiet. That's why this is the bell that I know. And at the same time, try to listen. Listen to the voice of the people who are suffering on this world, and also listen to the all the animals, or the trees and the earth, what kind of voice they are making. And so in a way, we should have a much bigger ears to listen. And not just only listen to your own wants, but listen to all the other people's wants. And what can we do each other? So listening is a very important part of the, any action, I believe. So I would like to do today is I just ring the 3 bells. I mean, this is a 2 years, why 3 is another question, but of course, this first 2 bells is, we are able to do one, 2 years plus, you can consider 2 years plus 1, and that particular 1 should be so which means somebody was suffering from that, hunger. And so when you listen, so first bell, maybe we can reflect upon the last year that we had, and the second year, and this year, and then the third one will be the next year. Here, we're starting from here to the next one. So in a way, past, present, and future. First year, second year, and better third year. So that's the 3 bells. But at the same time, again, this is a peace bell. So we try to listen to the even Hibakusha's voices, the people who are killed, and then also who are surviving too. And so any of the voices you hear, listen carefully, and also try to create the peace within ourselves. So I'll ring the bell 3 times, as I said. Maybe you can close your eyes lightly, and then bow your head, and show your respect, and and then thinking of the peace, and thinking of no more Hiroshima, no more Nagasaki, no more nuke. And think of the life, think of the happiness and peace of all people. So everybody is sort of smiling and stuff like that. So let me now ring the bell 3 times. Just a little prayer for the thinking of the happiness and peace. May we all be free from suffering. May we all be free from pain. May we all be free from attachment, from greed, anger, and ignorance. May we all attain ultimate happiness and peace of enlightenment. Thank you.
I think we should just sit with that for a while. Do you want to tell us what happened?
We went. My name's Jack Baldwin from the Manhattan Project for a Nuclear-Free World. We went to see the representative from the press office of the mission, Mr. Waterman. He accepted our certificate and the names of the groups that are part of the coalition, as well as the names of the countries that have signed the treaty. And he seemed very receptive to the decision. He said he would pass it on to the appropriate officers, and we suggested that we would contact them several weeks from now to try to arrange an appointment for dialogue. It didn't happen last year, but maybe it will happen this year. We don't know at this point, but it depends on what their reaction to this is. But they did accept it, and so we'll take it from there. Thank you.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. It rained. We didn't expect it to rain a little bit, but we made it, and we got our message across. And I hope that we join together in many actions this year and next year, and our voices get bigger and louder and stronger as we go. So thank you so much. Okay. Oh, I will tell everybody. Did you miss it? So thank you, WVAI, for being here, and for Paul Rienzo. In exile. PaulDeRienzo.com. Yeah, we thank all of the reporters that came here and to just bear witness with us that this is the second anniversary of the entering into force of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. It officially happens on Sunday, but we're doing it today. And it's, all of these actions all across the country and the world are honoring the 68 countries that ratified the nuclear ban treaty. It's very significant. And 92 countries have signed the treaty, and we're halfway there. We're halfway there to get all of the countries in the United Nations to sign this treaty, and the main ones are the ones that have US, NATO, Russia, all the countries that are under the US and other nuclear weapon states umbrella. They are the ones that we need to get to, and one by one, we're going to pick them off. We're going to pick them off for peace. And that's our goal. Somebody is going to hear this message, and somebody, and the people in that country and in our country, they're going to get the message across and make movement on this treaty. Because as Deborah said, it's not the paper, it's the people. It's the people that make the difference. So thank you so much.
I just wanted to mention something I didn't say just now. When I was talking to Mr. Waterman, I also mentioned that all the missions that we went to yesterday, to congratulate them on signing the treaty, had a message for the U.S., which is why don't we get with the, why doesn't the U.S. get with the program? They didn't say it in those words, but that's the message, that the U.S. you know, they signed the treaty, so why can't the U.S., you know, go with the rest of the world? And that's the question that we're facing now, and I hope that's the question that the U.S. will answer, particularly in the greatest nuclear crisis since the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And John, thank you so much.
See me if you need any help with